Hello everybody, welcome back. It's gonna be grand finals coming up between me and Logan. So the last time we met, upper bracket final, got totally wrecked 3-0 by his druid. So you would think, hey Kevin, might be time to ban his druid. But man, I really don't want to play against Taunt Warrior. Like, so bad. So bad. So, I don't know. I'll probably ban Warrior, but it feels bad. We have some history. I think I'm like 1 and 2 in best of 5s against Logan. But it's definitely winnable. Logan is a really good player, but I made some mistakes that could have potentially won me a game or two um, in our last series, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Time to think about bans, I guess. I ban Warrior because I still have no idea how aggro beats it. Time to get 3-0'd by Druid. And if Logan has taken anything from our interactions over the last week, he'll probably ban Paladin. Could ban Zoo again like he did last time. I still haven't played Zoo a single time in this entire tournament. I've brought it to every single series. We're playing that deck this entire tourney. Groups and 5 of... Yep. Alright. Let's get going. I think I'm gonna start with Hunter. It's just... It has so much hero potential, and like, it's so bad. I don't know. Hunter is just my... Rexar is my spirit animal. I'm so ready to get wrecked. Right, overlays. That's my Hunter deck. Should adjust this to reflect, the Zuban.
Rexar versus Malfurion.
Mute Messenger.
Protect the wild.
Message Chris
Let
that
the hunt
live.
begin.
Get on my Twitch dashboard. And figure out a starting hand. I want none of these. Maybe one animal companion. No, coin animal companion is maybe one animal. No, I want one drops. Coin animal companion is really bad, and one drops are good, and this is a pretty good hand. So I need him to miss his one drop. That would be incredible. If he gets Mistress of Mixtures, this could get really bad. Hungry Crab is less bad. I'm pretty fine with this. Just gonna Dire Maul up. There's an argument to be made for Alley Cat, but Alley Cat's sort of just... I just lose the cats for nothing. I think I'd rather save the coin for a turn 3 Houndmaster. Or turn 2 Direwolf coin Alley Cat. At least he caught it early this time. Enchanted Raven comes out, that's generally fine. And he is gonna attack the Dire Maul. It's a little unfortunate. Double kill command is not really what I want to have this early. So what am I doing here? I'm definitely playing the Direwolf. There's no other real play. It's just whether or not I Alley Cat too. If I play the Direwolf, he can clear my board with the hero power. yeah, no matter how I trade, if I attack the 1/1, he can hero power. If I attack the 2/2,
Quickly.
so play the Direwolf. I guess if I'm forcing hero power, it's not the end of the world. I think I do want to alley cat here. I have enough low drops that it can be sort of relevant. And yeah. And then this way I can also kill command if he tar creepers or something, and it's not the worst.
Truth is found.
Kaliseth is acceptable. He's gonna kill cute cat, you monster. Okay. He doesn't kill cute cat. Now I'm gonna have to kill cute cat. Feels even worse. Yeah, I'm definitely killing cute cat here, no matter how much I love cute cat. Huffer to face is too good here. Next turn I can Houndmaster one of the things. Probably the 2/2 to protect Huffer? Maybe not. We'll see.
How long?
Saturday Chain Gang.
How long can this go on?
Alright, what am I Houndmastering here? If I Houndmaster the 2/2, it trades for both Saranites and I'm left with a Huffer. If I Houndmaster the 5/2, it trades with both Saranites and I'm left with a Direwolf. I mean, there's not really that much to say here. I want to trade the Huffer in. So it's either Huffer who becomes a 4/2 after this, or the Direwolf. Yeah, I do want to trade the Huffer in. I misplayed there then. No, I didn't. I had to do this to be able to have a Direwolf kill a Saranite. At least it wasn't a buffed Saranite.
The land serves
Air Keeper, sure. I think I'm gonna do my best to try to preserve my minions here. I have a. So what happens if I go face? If I go face, he double trades. I have double kill command, which is a lot of damage, but nah. I would rather try to preserve my minions as long as possible. It's sustained damage. Even though I'm missing a good amount of face damage, I get it back next turn. We'll see if he has the Spectral Summoner. Otherwise, I'm doing a pretty good job of playing around all the random crap he has in his deck. I now remember that he has MC Tech. He doesn't quite have mana for Malfurion yet, and next turn I can put in 9, 12, 17, 19 damage if he doesn't hero power. So yeah, if he Spectral Summoners, I can probably just win this game. Or Spiteful Summoner rather. Sweet. Sweet. That is the big boss down. One skill command and hero power for lethal. Ooh, you just gotta put your faith in the Smork. Huffer came through for me, and yeah. Feels good. Feels good, man. Alright, so that's not getting 3-0'd. PogChamp. Freaking poggers. So that's his Druid down. It's up to his Priest and his Mage. So Quest Mage has a totally brutal matchup against this Hunter. So I have to assume he's gonna be playing the Steal Everything Priest, which could be rough. We'll see how it goes. I think Hunter's my weakest deck against this Priest, but I still have the potential to high roll anything, so it's just he has so much AoE in that deck. It's gonna be, in general, it's gonna be very hard to defeat this deck. Like, just like his Druid, his Priest also has the potential to 3-0 me, and so did his Warrior. And this hand is not helping at all. I do not want any of these cards. I want Dire Maul into Crackling Razor Maul, with +3 attack. That is what I want. Alley Cat Kindly is not the worst. So the main worry here with Kindly is that it's so bad against Potion of Madness, but he only runs one, and Alley Cat's also a pretty tempting Potion of Madness target. Like, Kindly Grandmother is terrible in this matchup with against Potion of Madness, against Cabal Shadow Priest, just ugh. Not great. It was good against Duskbreaker. Oh, thank God for Razor Maw. Alright. Even though I'm buffing Cute Cat, I don't care. Sure, +3 health is the only thing I can get here that's worth anything at all. At least I have Kill Command, which means I can kill Doomsayer if he drops it, which is pretty big. Otherwise, I would, you know, lose a lot of board control real quick, and that can often be unrecoverable. Acidic Swampooze is not a real card, especially given that I can Scavenging Hyena. This is really good. I think I want my Hyena on the far left. So there's a weird question here of how I want to trade here, because like there's because of Coin Duskbreaker being a thing. How many other dragons does he run? He runs 2 Operatives and 2 Primordial Drakes. How scared am I of Coin Duskbreaker? Like a Hyena can just win me the game completely by itself. If I trade 2 in and it becomes 4 attack, how does he punish that? He has 1 silence, and like that's about it, right? So like I'm about to do something that looks really dumb, which is trade in an Alley Cat and the Razor Maw just to bring this up to 4 health. It looks really ridiculous, but this is game winning if not contested, I think. I don't know if this is the correct play, I'll be honest. Maybe I'm giving too much credit to Coin Duskbreaker, but I've been bitten so much by that in the past. So Shadow Visions is fairly non-threatening here. I think I'm pretty happy to see Shadow Visions. Means he's unlikely to have an answer real quick. The second Hyena could be relevant, but right now I just want to buff the first one. Where do I want to place this Houndmaster? So if I'm placing a Direwolf, I probably want to buff. I think I put this in the middle.
I want
And so next turn I have potentially 12, 13, 18, 20 damage. So that's lethal if he doesn't manage to clear some things. Greater Healing is what it is. Not the biggest deal. Leroy is interesting here. Okay, so I definitely 1, 2, 3. I can put him on 10 health. So what am I afraid of? Dragonfire Potion? If I'm afraid of Dragonfire, I think I just play a second Hyena. Does he still have the coin? Yeah, he does. So coin Dragonfire Potion. I played a second Hyena so that my Hyena gets super buffed if it is Dragonfire. And then I can still survive like Duskbreaker Potion of Madness, potentially. Actually, maybe Grandmother is better here. Yeah, I'm gonna Grandmother and Hero Power. Just want to play around Coin Dragonfire a little bit. This way, I have pretty guaranteed lethal, I think. Twilight Acolyte, sure. And a heal. So this puts me at 6. I can sacrifice both of these for what's essentially 4 damage. So I have 6, 10. That is lethal. Just double checking. If I sack both of these, this goes to 6 attack. That's 10, and then yep.
Oh dear. The better to eat you with.
And going to give him the good old skill command hero power finisher.
You have been.
Alright, that's gonna be a 2-0, and I'm up against Quest Mage. And I need to update this too. Oops, my bad for the stream. But yeah, up against Quest Mage as the final deck that he has. So Quest Mage can totally be everything, but I do believe that all three of my decks should be somewhat favored against it. So hopefully as long as I play well and he doesn't have like 8 ice blocks, we should be good. But I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. Quest Mage is definitely a very, very dangerous deck.
Let the hunt begin.
This is an interesting opener. I don't entirely mind this. I think I ditch Kill Command and the Grandmother. There's a logic for keeping Kill Command, just like push as much damage as possible. I think I'm just gonna coin Hyena into Razor Maul here and not feel too bad about it. I need to change his deck list to the Modern Solitaire. And yeah, so he's gonna play Open the Waygate. And I'm going to start going. Yeah, so just gonna coin the Hyena. There's not much early removal in this deck outside of like Doomsayer, so Doomsayer is something I don't want to see.
An incredible
Arcanologist is fine for the most part. Not super worried about that. I'm just gonna adapt up and hope to get something pretty good out of this. Divine Shield alright? Divine Shield's pretty mediocre. Like, he's just gonna hero power and it's gonna be terrible. I think I would rather have the living spores here. I should have paid more attention to what the third one was. I don't even remember what it was. This is really bad for me. But, well, it is what it is. Too bad the living spores aren't beasts, but, you know. I really hope the third one wasn't relevant. I think it was like taunt or something terrible. Stealth. It can't be targeted maybe. I just remember it being irrelevant. And he gets just the spell. It better not have been stealth. If it was stealth and I didn't pick stealth, then I sort of deserve to lose this game. Alright. I think Animal Companion is sort of a no-brainer here. There's some argument for Unleash the Hounds to clear, but like, I'm not in this matchup to clear. At least it's not Leok. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to press as much damage as possible as quickly as possible. Hunter hero power is very good in this matchup, thankfully. But he does have one copy of Arcane Artificer to gain some armor, so we'll see how that goes. I'm a little unhappy that I haven't been able to push in quite as much damage as I would like so far. It was a fairly underwhelming evolve. Adapt, sorry. If I got like +1/+1 or +3 attack, I would have been much happier. Or even Wind Fury. Well, okay, maybe not Wind Fury.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Sorcerer's Apprentice is always a tiny bit scary. I may have to deal with that. Something like Unleash Alley Cat wouldn't be the worst turn here. Frost Nova, sure. Wait, he... Okay, actually that's interesting. So he had to commit an Apprentice early just to... I suppose his win condition is trying to bleed me out of resources then? Or... I guess he does have Simula and 2 Modern Reflections, so he can afford to play one early. But it's still interesting to see. On my side, I think I do want to clear the Apprentice as quickly as possible. That thing is way scary. And then he has no 5-mana AoE except for potential random card. So I think I'm happy putting out an Alley Cat and continuing to play. Perhaps I should have placed it on the left to be better against Meteor. Yeah, that was a slight positioning error. Hopefully I don't get punished for it. I have not been playing at the best of my ability, but luckily I've been high rolling like crazy, so that's always nice. And so we're gonna see a secret and him trade in to play around a variety of different things. Gonna test for the secret. Ice barrier? Vaporize? Ice barrier. Okay, fine. Perhaps we should have Animal Companion first, now that I think about it. Yeah, so I missed 1 damage. That was sort of bad from me. He's setting up for Blizzard, which means that Kindly Grandmother allows me to push in more damage next turn. And placing it here makes me slightly more immune to Meteor, I guess. But I misplayed by not Leoking first. That was dumb of me. And 1 damage can be a big difference in this matchup, so I really hope that doesn't, I don't come to regret that. So yeah, Blizzard here is pretty bad, but at least I can continue pushing for 4 damage next turn. Alley Cat's a solid draw. So the question is whether or not I want to commit into a potential second Blizzard with Hyena. So either way, I'm definitely attacking, I'm definitely hero powering. And if he has Blizzard, rather, if he doesn't have Blizzard, my board is already reasonable. Like, I can start popping blocks soon. And then, so if I play Alley Cat and let's say he doesn't have Blizzard, he plays a block and pings 1, I'm gonna have 8. I'm gonna be able to pop his block immediately. So I think just Alley Cat and not the Hyena is correct here. Just so that if there is a Blizzard, I have a potential bit of game after that. Again, mispositioning. I should play the Alley Cat in between the 2 minions, but I'm getting distracted, which isn't good.
I hope you like my invention.
Okay, seeing just Novice Engineer is fine by me. Because that means he no longer has Blizzard mana. A secret and Doomsayer. So I think I'm just looking to pop the block here. So Leroy's gonna be 7 damage. All of this is 6, 8, 10. Trying to see if I can so yeah, Leroy's 7 damage. This is 10. So I want 7 plus. Fuck, math is hard. I'm really tired right now. Yeah, I'll pop him on 2. So that's 6, 13. Yes, I can do that. So we're gonna attack with the cat first. We're gonna Leroy up. And yeah, so that's gonna pop his block. Hopefully there's no like Arcane Artificer that's gonna come out and punish me. It's gonna need Arcane Artificer and like a big spell. Deck of Wonders is not it. I'm assuming that's second block. Nope, Cold Light Oracle. He's gonna try to draw into something crazy from Deck of Wonders. That's nice.
Tear you apart.
Alright, phew, 3-0. So this does not yet make me the champion. This just means that there is 1 remaining best of 5 to be played for the championship. So let's reset this. So I want first best of 5. Back to 0-0. Logan bans Hunter in response. Yeah, I can see that. So I have Warlock, Druid, Paladin now, and he has Mage, Druid, and Priest. I think my response to a Hunter ban is think I still ban Warrior. GLHF. Oh, either ways, this is the final best of 5. And Haven't played Zoo this entire time, so might be time. Zoo definitely has potential to high roll just about anything. And yeah, let's do it. But man, that Hunter deck has come up clutch for me over and over this tournament. And this looks like a pretty good starting hand. Darkstar's Imp, Soulfire, Firefly, like I think I keep it all.
Your soul shall be mine.
I think I keep it all. Soulfire can get me ahead on board really quick, and yeah. Doomguard is not exactly what I wanted to pick up here, but I'm fairly happy just dropping Malkazar's Imp here.
Job's done.
Well statted, and next turn I can do Soulfire, or Firefly Soulfire.
Side effects.
Mistress of Mixtures, yeah, that's fine. Dragon Slayer is not relevant in this matchup in particular, unless he gets a dragon from Spiteful Summoner. And so I want to play the Firefly first, because it's going to replenish itself, and then this is my, hopefully, the best discard target. It's always going to be Doomguard. No! It happened! For once in my life, Soulfire didn't discard Doomguard, so I now have definite potential to just snowball really hard. We'll see whether or not that actually happens, but there's a chance. We'll see what his follow-up to this is. Again, I need to be cognizant about stuff like mind control tech that I wasn't in the last series, and definitely was sort of punished for that. So, 3D Sprite, unfortunately, I do want to trade into just because Vicious Fledgling is so good here. I want to definitely essentially set up the Fledgling, and so even though I'm helping him ramp a little bit, this does give me the chance of snowballing into a very brutal victory. And even if it doesn't, I'll be able to follow this up next turn with like Dragon Slayer and Doomguard. So there's some follow-up. Dragon Slayer at least has fairly decent vanilla stats. We'll see if there's like a Tauntier, Saronite Chain Gang, or Tar Creeper. There is Tar Creeper. Tar Creeper's alright. I'm just gonna establish Dragon Slayer this turn and pass. I don't want to play into mind control tech, and then next turn I can Doomguard and get really ahead on board. Enchanted Raven here is unfortunate. Hopefully I get like Soulfire. Soulfire would be sweet. Dreadlord is not Soulfire, but Dreadlord can still be a very strong play next turn. So I'm just gonna set up the Dragon Slayer here and end my turn. Force him to trade into my Fledgling, and then next turn I can put that in and Despicable, and after that Doomguard. And all of this is hopefully set up for a really good go-down later on. So hopefully I can have a fairly strong board going into a Spiteful turn. That would be preferable, but we'll see how it goes.
What to do? The land
Fire
serves
Keeper is not particularly threatening, and he is going to trade into Fledgling as sort of expected.
Trust me.
Yeah, so I have a couple of plays here. I can Despicable Dreadlord and just slam the Malkazar's Imp in, or I could play Doomguard and cycle twice. I think I like the Despicable here. It's a... I don't know. It can die really fast, and then... So what happens if I
wonder.
If I Doomguard, I'm gonna remain on 4 cards. I have a pretty good chance of dropping my other good discarding my other good demons. Drawing the second Doomguard is unfortunate. And then if I Doomguard, I'm gonna have to trade like the Dragon Slayer in, and then it's gonna be weird. Versus if I Despicable, I hit that in and pass, and he's gonna have to trade in Despicable. I don't know. Neither of them feels particularly great, but I think I will Despicable. Yeah, I don't think there's any other trade that looks particularly good for me. So going into turn 6, I'm obviously worried about Spiteful Summoner. He can manage to clear a good chunk of my board and summon. Yep. So I'm obviously hoping for one of the weaker 10 drops here. So one of the Oat Gods who isn't Yashraj. Damn, Tyrantus is extremely brutal. That could potentially just be game winning over there. Not sure if I can recover from this, but he will try. That thing is so strong. I think I'm gonna Firefly and Doomguard. Yeah. Hopefully I don't discard the other Doomguard, that would be incredible. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I think in this case I want to start trading. He's probably going to... I mean, he has a couple of things. He can trade, he can go face. Depends on what he has in his hand. But I think this and then trying to get a big Godan later on is the only way I can come back from this. Or getting some Glacial Shards and freezing this thing. But this is unfortunate. Probably going to lose this game from here. Yeah, second Spiteful Summoner is also not great. We can hope it low rolls, but there's not really any too low rolly 10 drop. Oh my gosh. This is very unfortunate. And he's going to trade. I'm not sure I agree with the trade. He could have set up turn lethal. Glacial Shard is a really good draw here, but 3 1-drops does not make for a particularly pleasant hand. So I just want to keep maintaining board, hope to curve into like chain gangs and stuff, and then eventually take out these big threats. Because once I do, his deck is fairly low on big beats. It's just, well, they're here right now. And like he could do something completely crazy like Zola the Doomguard, or wow, or Zola the... That's not a Doomguard, it's a Deathwing. But yeah. Crystal Weaver is not going to cut it, and neither is Councilman. Good game. And it's gonna be 1-0 in favor of Logan. Yeah. Again, as usual, there's a very distinct possibility of me getting rolled again by this Druid deck, but it is what it is. It's definitely beatable. Although losing the Hunter sort of sucks. But like the Druid can definitely high roll it, the Paladin can high roll. I think I do save Paladin for last, because in my opinion it's the weakest of my decks against this Druid and the strongest against the rest of his lists. So I think I will roll into the Druid here and try to see if I can make some magic happen with Curve. I've still been unable to make Fledgling work, which is really, really unfortunate this entire time. So maybe this will be the game where I high roll with a Fledgling for once.
Malfurion versus Malfurion.
So what is the starting hand? This looks terrible. 2 Direwolves and a Power of the Wild.
Must be preserved.
I'm shipping all of this for 1-drops and like better things. Well, at least those are some taunts I can hide the Fledgling behind. It's not the worst possible outcome. But getting a 1-drop here would be pretty big. Hungry Crab is just a 1-2 in this matchup, so I have no problem just playing it as one. Enchanted Raven, and so I had a thing in a previous series where I should have potentially played the Druid of the Storm as a 1-2 Poisonous instead of a 1-5 Taunt. But in this case, I think it is much better in Taunt form.
We will devour this world.
And so there's a thought about the Penguin, and using that to trade instead of the Hungry Crab, but I think the Penguin is best reserved for really big swing turns later on. And well, maybe not. I think having an extra point of damage on board right now may be worth it. Yeah, I am going to drop the Penguin. We'll see if I come to regret that. But, I think it does make some sense. You can potentially trade into like a coined out greedy sprite or something, for example. And my goal here is just to protect this fledgling as well as possible if I can, and hopefully don't get walled by like Tar Creeper.
Time waits for no one.
And he's just gonna hero power. I think I'm very fine with this outcome. So this is one of the reasons why I played Penguin. So I can now just trade the Penguin in, play the Fledgling, and attacking, and then hopefully next turn I can get some massive value off this Fledgling. The closest I've gotten to Fledgling value was against Sweep, where it ran into a Vaporize and died instantly. So hey, maybe I'm right. Maybe this will be the one Fledgling to rule them all. And before it gets immediately spellbroken, before I can do anything with it. That would be pretty funny, I'll be honest. Otherwise, I can like Mark of the Wild, get Wind Fury Taunt, it'd be ridiculous. But no, he's just gonna establish his Crypt Lord. Which... and point out a Hungry Crab, okay. Plus the Crypt Lord on 7 health, which, which at 7 health is clearable. Question is whether or not I want to commit to the Fledgling. I think I do. It's definitely my highest probability of winning. And so I attack with the Fledgling. I think I do want to play around Mind Control tech here just a little bit. And so, yeah, I think this is the line. There was definitely a thought about playing Druid of the Swarm, especially in Poisonous mode, but there's no reason to play into Mind Control tech just yet. And I can continue to keep my board fairly lean while establishing one really big threat. He does run 2 Spellbreakers, which is as likely as the Mind Control tech, but I mean, at least I would have gotten some value out of the Fledgling, and I can trade into the Spellbreaker if necessary.
I wonder.
Otherwise, I'm not drawing buffs, which is sort of unfortunate as aggro druid. Not drawing board buffs, that is. But, you know, it is what it is.
How long
Saturday Chain Gang comes down.
can this go on?
This can apparently go on for quite a while. And so, what do I want to draw here? Savage Roar is really good here. Means I could Druid of the Swarm in Taunt form. Again, Taunt is... Actually, is Taunt better than Poisonous here? I think Poisonous might be better. Taunt won't protect the Fledgling anyways, while Poisonous could potentially come in really big and clearing out like a future Taunt. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Druid of the Swarm in Poisonous mode. Savage Roar, which can just enable me to clear this board entirely. The Fledgling can go face. Wind Fury? Never Wind Fury. It's not Wind Fury. Do I want attack or do I want a Divine Shield? I can already get through one taunt. But on the other hand, I already have... I'll take attack.
For the wild. Job done.
Well, we'll see if that was the correct play or not, but I think attack is better than Divine Shield, and I can't afford to play too conservatively. I would have liked to see Stealth. Cannot be targeted isn't too relevant here because he doesn't have any targeting spells until turn 10. So, yeah.
I wonder.
But never Wind Fury. Never 1 in 3 Wind Fury.
The land serves
Fire Keeper? Sure. And he's going to use it to... Sorry, train of thought. He's gonna use it to mana up, which means he's going into Malfurion. I can Crypt Lord and Power of the Wild, and then if I get Wind Fury, it's lethal anyways. So I think that's a pretty good play here.
The scourge will devour all.
So Wind Fury? It's not Wind Fury, but stealth is fairly good. And I think I'm attacking phase here. If he does have Malfurion, like he has Malfurion, but there's no reason losing one of my ways of getting through the taunt to the Mire Keeper. If he ramped up to 7, that has to be going for Malfurion, right? Yeah, it is Malfurion. So he can establish 2 taunts here and gain some health. Too bad about the Wind Fury earlier, but what can you do? I can clear this. And this, and then just hero power to 3-1. And he continues to not really have a way of dealing with the fledgling. So hopefully that continues to be the case. Hero power can only give +3 attack, which doesn't quite kill the fledgling yet. There's stuff like Glacial Shard that can hold it for a bit, and he is going to get a Glacial Shard. And I mean, that's acceptable. Maybe I'm playing this too slowly, I don't know. I just don't want to lose the fledgling in the game to an MC tech. And yeah, Kel'Asath is fine. Greedy Sprite is also fine. Fledgling number 2 gets interesting.
Find a room.
So there's some plays here. I actually think I don't kill the Greedy Sprite because it ramps him to 10 mana, which is a potential ultimate infestation. Whereas if he wants to attack into the fledgling, he's taking a pretty hefty chunk of damage. So in this case, I think I no longer play around MC Tech at this point. I can play 2 minions, hero power this, and clear out the Kel'Asath. And so this way, if he's going to MC Tech, there's a good chance that he pulls off the trash. I can kill anything, including a fledgling, as necessary, and this way he can't UI. Again, it's just gambles and seeing what's the correct thing to play against. It is MC Tech. Luckily, it's just Dire Maul. I will wither and rot. And we'll see if he has anything remaining. He could like Zola MC Tech again. That would be interesting. Or play the second MC Tech. But other than that, there's a card he's been holding from turn 1. Spiteful Summoner. I don't think there's any 10 mana taunts anymore, right? So he's done 12 HP and I absolutely have lethal. Perfect. Alright, that is the Druid down. Not going to get swept in this series either, which I'm quite pleased with this result. I'm interested rather to see what he queues into my aggro druid, because I think both of his decks here are fairly reasonable. It's not like where Hunter can totally just crap all over the mage. I think the mage is not an unreasonable thing to play here, although I think it will still be the priest. Just because the priest has so much AoE clear that he can potentially deal with this. And yeah, it is going to be the priest.
The light shall bring victory.
I must protect the wild.
Wow, there's another potential fledgling Hyro, which guess I'm happy with, even though it can always die to it can die to Duskbreaker. But there's a pretty good hand that I can be happy about here. He doesn't run Northshire, which means that Dire Maul and the Druid of the Swarm is great opener. Although Dire Maul into Mark of Yasharaj would be even more explosive. Or potentially Fledgling Mark or something like that. As it is, we'll have to wait and see. Oh, second Dire Maul. But this is the one I kept in the mulligan, so this is the one I'm playing.
Job's done.
And another fledgling. So, there's an argument for Poisonous, which clears Doomsayer, or an argument for Taunt, which gets wrecked by Potion of Madness. Taunt is also better against Coin Duskbreaker, but yeah.
Time waits for no one.
Doomsayer is the more likely one to totally wreck me here. So yeah, if he has Potion of Madness, at least I can still set up Fledgling going into turn 3. Whereas Doomsayer would set me back substantially. And he only runs 1 Potion of Madness, where he runs 2 Doomsayers. So Shadow Visions is almost definitely trying to dig for Potion of Madness, I presume. And he's not snap picking it, so I guess there could also be arguments for stuff like Dragonfire Potion. I think Psychic Scream is... Well, Psychic Scream can be backbreaking against Living Mana, but it might be a little too slow for him to want to play here, knowing that he could potentially just get, well, Omega Low wrecked. I think either way I do have to develop the Fledgling and hope I just don't get either Potion of Madness or Coin Duskbroken here. If either happens, it is what it is. But, yeah. Coin Duskbreaker is just so brutal here. If he doesn't have it, I'm in a reasonable spot. He had Potion of Madness. Okay, that's fine. It sucks, but I can live with this outcome. Booze comes out to contest this board, which there's a couple things I can do. I can Crypt Lord Dharma, which is fairly reasonable. I can also attack Hero Power in Dharma, which feels weak. I think I will play the Crypt Lord Dharma and hit face. I would really like to see some board buffs right now. Perhaps the Fledgling plan was a little too ambitious. And so I think this game is probably not going to go my way, but yeah, Doomsayer is not the end actually for me. Savage Roar lets me clear it out without too much issue. So Savage Roar, everything I have does 3 damage, so yeah. So what would be really nice, like a Mark of the Lotus to go with the Savage Roar? Mark of Yashraj works too. This is not a beast, I should remember. Mark of Yashraj first. And so, yeah, I will just roar this away.
Mine a room.
I will miss 1 damage, or 2 damage for the sake of, I'll miss a few damage. Or, I don't even know if I missed damage there. I am not the top of my game right now, but I will play this way for the sake of keeping my minions as healthy as possible. That was a really good Mark of the Yashraj draw, or Mark of Yashraj draw though. Unfortunately, we're going into like Dragonfire Potion turn, and there's not too much I can do about Coin Dragonfire if this is Dragonfire that he got off Potion of Madness. But if he doesn't have Dragonfire and I draw like a board buff, I can do something really crazy like Crypt Lord board buff and get my minions out of range a little bit. Living Mana I think is a little ambitious, especially since that does have potential to be like Psychic Scream, I guess. I think I want to set up a Fledgling here, and there's just a question of whether or not I want to trade for that Harrison and try to protect the Fledgling as best as possible. My board is going to be dead to Dragonfire anyways, so trading for the Harrison isn't even the worst thing. I'll miss a few damage, but I think the chance of getting a massive Fledgling is worth it. Maybe I should have traded in the Crypt Lord. Cabal Shadow Priest can be quite punishing here. But I think he probably would have just coined it out if he had it, I'm thinking. but I'm not entirely sure.
Greetings.
Logan is
Meddlesome
sure.
insect.
Dustbreaker off the top is what it is. And so I think this is where I just go all in and stop worrying about the potential Psychic Scream. I should hero power first and then living mana. And yeah, if he has Psychic Scream, I'm going to lose this game. But if he doesn't, I'm in a reasonable spot. If he doesn't, I'm in a... I mean, he top decked that Duskbreaker and he did have, so... Whatever. We are in a position where we are no longer able to play around AoE. I have potentially been playing a little too conservatively this game. He does have Dragonfire. Sure. So I would like to see, well, not that. So just gonna develop Crypt Lord.
We devour this world.
There's an argument for Druid of the Storm in Poisonous to be able to clear out like Primordial Drake, but I think at this point, well, maybe. And then we'll buff things a little bit. And so at this point, I'm pretty much all in on what's left here and what I top deck. And so if he has something big, I am probably screwed. So he's holding a dragon, and there's only Operative and Dragon Primordial Drake left, or I guess more Duskbreakers. But we'll see what he has. No card draw in my deck, so I'm pretty much on. So he is gonna play Dragonet Operative. So now he has a Discovered Dragon, a Discovered Spell, and I'm pretty much boned. So Living Mana will be a decent top deck here. Mark of the Wild, I mean, sure, just gonna start hitting face, but this game is most likely going to go in his favor. Which does at least leave me with Paladin, which is my best deck, and hopefully I can do crazy things with Paladin. It's definitely still possible for me to win this series. I don't think it's any longer possible for me to win this game. But I'm not paying attention to this game anymore. I'm just starting to plan ahead for the Paladin game. So yeah, I think it's definitely possible to win as Paladin. Big blockers are like a strong early Doomsayer can screw me up, or playing too slow. He has so much AoE. I think I might have played too conservatively this game, and I think next game I'm gonna have to play more aggressively. Like, he didn't have Duskbreaker, he only has 6 dragons, and yeah, I'm gonna go into the Paladin. And hopefully I can take that. Not, well, we had a good run. At least we won the first best of 5, but I think I still have a pretty reasonable chance of winning with Paladin. It's definitely the deck I'm best with, and the deck I'm most comfortable with, and the only class I'm level 60 at. And like, I love Paladin, so I will put my faith in the light. Okay, take a couple of deep breaths until recenter for the last game, and yeah, let's go. So one unfortunate thing with this Paladin is I am running double Consecration instead of the standard Spellbreakers that I would run in the ladder list. And they've done their job. I haven't lost, I think, a single game against aggro, and I've definitely not lost a single game against Paladin. But against some of the more control decks that Logan's bringing, I don't think I want any of these cards. I want 1-drops real bad. Like, keeping 1 Rallying Blade isn't the worst. It's such a good weapon, especially on the coin. Yeah, I can be convinced to keep 1 Rallying Blade. Maybe. Wow, if I can get a Tidecaller here, or one of my 8 1-drops, this could potentially be a really dominant opening hand. And Chum is an acceptable 1-drop. Buffs the War Leader, puts out Dustbreaker range, which is always solid. And yeah, I'll take that as a... It's a nice early sign. And especially if he decides to be a little greedy and doesn't like play not Duskbreaker. Play Doomsayer immediately if he has it. I could definitely get out of control pretty quickly. So we'll see if that happens. That would be very pleasing for me.
The light shall
And he's
burn.
gonna do the traditional turn 2 priest, heal opposing face, and the light shall burn you. So Rockpool Hunter has the potential of getting punished by what's that called here? By Potion of Madness. So there's an argument for Chum then second Rockpool. And
Should I?
I think I can get behind that. He's not at the Duskbreaker turn yet. The Rockpool is now out of range of Duskbreaker, and Potion of Madness can still take out 2 minions, but it's no longer nearly as strong. Yeah. I'm pretty fine with this. Doomsayer. That is less fine. Unfortunately, that does leave me 1 damage short of being able to kill the Doomsayer, even with the weapon. So I'm just gonna establish the Rallying Blade. He runs double Ooze. So yeah, I think I'll establish the Rallying Blade and double hit face here. Just in case that is a Acidic Swamp Ooze. Yep, there's Ooze off the top. That's fine. Live with that. I can just... Well, I can just Call to Arms now. And even if Call to Arms fails, I can still do some, like, gets blown up by Duskbreaker, and still do some refills with Hydrologist and War Leader. I think there's a pretty reasonable Call to Arms here. And 1 Murloc, 2 non-Murlocs. A fairly middling outcome. So if he has Duskbreaker, he can hit in and Duskbreak, and then I can do some things. We'll see if whether or not that's the case.
Secret agent.
Draconet Operative is much less scary than Duskbreaker is. Although there's a chance that he's just saving it for even nuttier Duskbreaker next turn. He has Silence for the taunt. That's a little unfortunate. And that... Oh, well, I think Call to Arms is just stronger than anything I can play from hand, so I'm just gonna go for it. He has Dragonfire turn coming up, and if he does have Dragonfire, that's going to be very unfortunate for me. But there's only so much playing around AoE you can do in this matchup. He could have also pulled my Consecration off Operative. We'll see if he chooses to emote right now. If that's the case, I may have lost the series, but yeah. These Consecrations have really come back to bite me in the rear against Priests. But they have been so good against aggro that I think it's still worth it. Like, these tech choices are what got me to the final, and so even if I'm gonna eventually fall short to Logan, who was one of the favorites coming into this, he's completely undefeated in both groups and the playoff stage. And if it happens, well, I mean, I did not plan around beating some of his decks. I planned around beating aggro and banning Warlock. But we'll see. He hasn't played anything quite yet. I think Dragonfire would be a very snap play, as with Consecration, which gives me a little bit of hope that he does not have anything quite as devastating. No, he's just thinking through his options. Perhaps he had both Dragonfire and Consecration. That's a possibility. Tarim arrives. Tarim still has potential to be very explosive here. I think... Yeah, Noble Sacrifice is very good here, and that allows me to War Leader up. And next turn I can use the Mega Sword to build what can be once again a fairly strong board. So, if he does have the Consecration, then I mean I'll at least have a War Leader, but it'll be pretty bad for me. Otherwise, I have some chances. He's gonna heal up, which leads me to believe... I don't know what that leads me to believe. He does attack into the Hydrologist, which means something? I don't know, dude. I don't understand Hearthstone, I'll be honest, but yeah. Greater Healing Potion is a thing. And Righteous Protector is actually very unfortunate for me here, because it makes Tarim much worse. The weapon is a nice draw. Quite happy with that, and Wind Fury is excellent here. Wind Fury with the weapon means that so the War Leader definitely goes in twice. I'm debating whether or not to trade the 4-1 Hydrologist. I think it's pretty good. I would like to preserve the War Leader. Without the War Leader, the Hydrologist is pretty bad. And so yeah, I think this is a fairly reasonable play. And a Wind Fury War Leader can definitely be very strong going into the future turns. So yeah, I like this. And then this gives me 8 plus 8, 16. Yeah, 16 damage on board, which is just lethal with a Leroy if he doesn't heal up, which is very unlikely, but it is a possibility that I can consider. If you play something like Primordial Drake, Tarim is super strong. I can just hero power Tarim, use the weapon to clear out the Drake, and then push in 9 damage to face. It's obviously not as much as if he didn't have one, but it's nice. Main things I don't want to see here are stuff like Psychic Scream, obviously, second Dragonfire. Shadow Reaper Anduin can be sort of painful, but not the literal worst. It is going to be Primordial Drake, so I'm very much okay with this. Interesting. I like the Tidecaller. I'm gonna Tidecaller Tarim. It's slightly better than Hero Power Tarim because the Tidecaller represents more damage. And Ungoro belongs to the Titans. And I can now push in 9 damage and set up another potential lethal. And so, main things I'm looking not to get punished by are his remaining AoEs. Oh no, that Shadow Visions is has the potential to be really explosive. I think, what does he have left in his deck? He has Shadow Vision, Silence, Mind Control, Psychic Scream, Dragonfire. Yeah, and Greater Healing. That Silence is that Shadow Vision rather is almost definitely pulling an AoE. It doesn't. It pulls Greater Healing. Okay. And that doesn't even reduce the damage on my board by a significant amount. In that case, I'm just gonna make 2 guys here. So the question here is whether or not I trade down for this Twilight Acolyte. So the main punish if I don't is Dragonfire Potion, but if I do, Dragonfire still wrecks me. We're just going to go in. Yeah, if he does have the AoE, I will lose this board and this game most likely. Mind Control on the Tarim. I should have potentially seen that one coming, but I think I might still have lethal through this. Yeah, I do. So I'm gonna trade in a Megasaur, one of these, and this guy. And wow, I did not think I was going to win that game. I guess this is really the perfect way to end this series. We've traded 3-0s and now we're going into game 5 of the final series. What a way to go. And so it's going to be my Paladin against his Quest Mage. And yeah. Couple of deep breaths. Take a sip of water. Think some positive thoughts. Whew. And I have some friends in chat who are calling me out on some poor play in the Druid game, which I think I agree. I played way too conservatively there. I should not be playing so scared. And alright, we're going to this final match. So there's a lot of very interesting nuances to this matchup. Eye for an eye off Hydrologist can actually be an incredibly strong secret because it gets through Ice Block essentially. So that has some potential. Call to Arms is super strong here, but do I keep it with just one drop? I think I do. I'm sure John will tell me afterwards that I'm terrible at this game and I shouldn't have done that, but we'll see. I think I'll chum turn 1. Buff up the Tidecaller a little bit. Could have potentially done the Tidecaller if I had like a Rockpool Hunter, but without anything like that, I think I'm happy doing this. And another Call to Arms. So I have the potential of snowballing really hard this game. So we'll see whether or not he has like a Archaeologist or something, or a Doomsayer. Those would be somewhat unfortunate for me. Otherwise, so it is going to be Doomsayer. At least I have Call to Arms to refill right afterwards. So I can just hit face. Not a big deal. If I had War Leader, I would have cleared this, but no War Leader. I can Call to Arms, Call to Arms. It's perfectly strong. Leroy is very good in this sort of matchup, obviously, just because it lets me, well, push for lethal. Rockpool Hunter shows up now, a little late, but it will have its time in the sun after this Call to Arms. So I got a Taunt, a Juggler in the wrong place, and a Murloc. Pretty fine with this outcome. Especially since I'm going to play the second Call to Arms right after, most likely. It does have the potential of playing into like Coin Blizzard, but Blizzard is the only damaging AoE he has in his deck. And it does partially depend on what I draw too. But Call to Arms is just... this is how I win this game.
I hope you like my invention.
Novice Engineer is fairly irrelevant, and he is going to ping off and kill the taunt. Makes sense. And with a Rallying Blade, do I want to amend my play? I think it's reasonable to slow play it slightly with this Rallying Blade. I can Rallying Blade Rockpool Hunter. For a reasonable chance of juggling. I think I just go face. I don't. Like, if he wants to kill the juggler, he can be my guest. I would much rather push into face damage in a matchup like this. Alright. So there's a couple of things I can see here. Coin Blizzard would be one.
What to do?
Otherwise, I guess I'm chilling.
Time runs out on me.
Gonna Arcane Intellect up, and we'll see if he chooses to kill the juggler. Yeah, he's gonna kill the juggler. Fairly fine by me. So what would I like to draw here? Rockpool Hunter would be nice. Tidecaller is pretty good. Yeah, I'll play the Murloc and I'll adapt up. Plus 3 health isn't bad. I probably should have given a little more thought into the plants, but I think plus 3 health is one of my best chances at just surviving any sort of AoE he can throw at me, and then next turn I can Call to Arms and do things potentially. Or I could pop block with Leroy. He has 10 cards in hand, he surely has some freeze effect. And potentially a Doomsayer to back it up. That would be the one thing that clears my board, but I have Leroy to kill Doomsayer if I have to. It's gonna be an Ice Block. And it's gonna be a nice barrier. At this point, do I want to Call to Arms again and try to push damage? I think I do. It also thins out my deck of sort of the bad draws. The downside is it fills up all of the slots on my deck. And it, you know, would have been nice to preserve a Hydrologist so that I can get Eye, but I think that's fine. And then I can do some potential lethally things. Or clear a Doomsayer if I have to. He's back to 9 cards. But he still has the coin too. Coin, yeah, coin is 1 of 6 to the quest, but you know, not a huge deal. He's currently just
Someday I'll be just
in a position where he has to fight for the board. So Blizzard comes out. Mostly fine. Hydrologist is great here. Eye for an eye would be excellent. I do get eye for an eye. This is very good. This means that I can I could try to I could just use the Leroy and go face right now, because Leroy weapon puts him at 1 eye for an eye, but he does have 1 arcane artificer, and so I think I would save this when he's closer to quest completion.
Burn.
So, yeah, I think I just kill off the Sorcerer's Apprentice to hopefully put him a little further from quest completion, and I don't want to fill the board just in case I do need to use Leroy to do something, I think. Or I get like a War Leader or another Megasaur or a Tarim. So yeah, I will just pass here. So my win condition here is that if after his Arcane Artificer I can put him at 1 HP, I just pretty much win the game. And so we'll see if I can make that happen. Babbling Book can be scary. There's some pretty, like Flame Strike would be really bad for me here, for example. Code Light Oracle is fine. Consecration is really nice, actually, because it's direct damage that doesn't get frozen, and so it can be some ways for me to get through later. And we'll see if he has like a Frost Nova.
I wonder. Time runs out on me.
I hope you like my invention.
Novice is not particularly threatening. Is that going to be a Frost Nova? Simula. Okay. In which case, I'm going to pop his block, put him at 1 HP, and set up Eye for an Eye here, I think. It could be a little early for me to worry about dying to combo, but I've seen crazier things happen. Like, even if he has a big Artificer turn, I should be able to clear it fast and potentially still put him back into the Eye for an Eye range. So yeah, we're gonna with like Leroy Consecration. So we are going to set up the Eye for an Eye here. And we don't need to draw anymore. I could potentially lose in Fatigue, but if I did that, so yeah, no draws. We're just gonna play this nice and safe. He does have the Artificer. Oh right, he pulled a second Artificer from Simulacrum. That's pretty exciting. He's gonna gain a good chunk of armor. And he's probably gonna ping my face just to pop the Eye for an Eye. That's well played by him. Oh, that's a mistake. So I can put him back at... Can I put him back at 1 HP though? Let's see. I need to do 10 damage to him. And... yeah, I can do that. I don't even need to blow a Consecration here. Perfect. So I think I'm now in an unlosable situation. I believe I am now in an unlosable situation. Also, I've had the wrong deck list up for this entire time I'm playing Paladin. I'm sorry, guys. It's just been a very nerve-wracking series. Yeah, chat's flaming me. But on the bright side, I should be able to win this game 100% of the time now. Is there any heal that... this deck can make. I don't believe so.
What to do? What to do?
He is gonna flame strike my board. Ping. Code light. And I am going to consecration for lethal. So these consecrations did end up working. And GG. I am the first two-time champion. FB Spring Series champion. And the tradition of the lower bracket player winning continues. Phew. Great series. 3-2. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And GG's! Oh, that feels so unbelievably good after after getting wrecked 3-0 the first time I faced him. And so yeah, aggro prevails. I like to think that part of it was just because, yeah, eye for an eye pretty much locks you out of the game. I lost my train of thought. Alright. Yeah, I like to think that part of it is, I mean, I definitely made some misplays, especially with the Druid deck. I will blame it somewhat on the fact that I'm not very good at playing the Druid deck. Yeah, that's what was what I was suggesting, but it would. I also had Leroy, weapon, cons in hand to get through block, and so it would have been close either way. But yeah, I like to think that even though I misplayed a little bit, I managed to not tilt horribly today, and hopefully the the PMA helped a little bit. I think I managed to pay full attention to the game this time, and so even though, especially if you listen to John, that I had some really bad plays there. It worked out. Whew. So I'm just gonna sit here for a couple of minutes. I don't want to spoil the result for those of you who are still watching, but yeah, I guess that feels incredible. The priest was probably your best chance. That was a super close game. Just lock you out with drawing minimal AoE. And let's see if I have the bracket open. And if it's updated. Looks like Logan did go ahead and update the bracket, so yeah, I'll put in window capture for that. And yeah, so this is the final bracket. Was a tough choice. Yeah, I thought about hitting the 4-1 into the trade that turn, but playing around Primordial Drake was correct there, and I'm glad I did it. So yeah, this is the final bracket. I had a... So one thing that's cool is the 4 people who went 3-0 in groups, Sui, myself, Aaron, and Logan ended up top 4, so yay for consistency, I guess. And 3 of us were bringing, well, fairly interesting homebrew decks. So Logan went undefeated through the upper bracket, I went undefeated through the lower bracket, and I got completely wrecked by him 2 days ago by his Tech Druid in the winner bracket finals. Suib edged out a really difficult 3-2 victory over Aaron, and I was lucky enough to face him after he just finished a 1.5 hour marathon series, and also because I'm a little more familiar with Suib's decks, managed to take that. Pulled a 3-0 with Hunter in the first best of 5 in the finals. Hunter was banned in the second best of 5, but luckily my Paladin managed to carry the day. So, pretty solid, pretty solid. Thank you all for watching, especially all of you who have, I guess, followed throughout these 4 days and probably like 15 hours of streams. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be uploading the VODs on my YouTube soon enough. And whew, we did it, Reddit. Catch you all later. Have a good night.